in one of my areas, we had a guy that followed us, that would always follow us, and whenever we were contacting people, he would always come up behind us and scare us. And so we kind of had to make sure that he wasn't following us and just kind of change our route all the time so that he wouldn't find us, because it was kind of scary to think that he would follow us home, and who knows. Other crazy experiences. My mission was very safe. I guess I should preface the fact that it was very safe, but there was a time that we left a lesson and they told us that someone had been shot a few streets away, and so we walked really quickly to our home that night. But besides that, my mission was amazing. I never got robbed. I never had to worry about that. They're just, if you put yourself in the wrong situation, it could be dangerous, but you're always protected as a missionary. My first day of the mission, I had arrived and we went and visited our ward mission leader. And I was meeting his family, and obviously I didn't understand Spanish nor Mayan very well, and everyone was introducing themselves. And so afterwards they said, "Oh, did you understand that?" And I said, "Yes." "Okay, so we want to hear, what are our names?" And so I started listing them off. I think there were about 4 or 5 of them. And instead of calling the lady by her real name, I called her a swear word in Spanish. And my companion started crying. She was laughing so hard, and then all of them. And so every time they saw me after that, even from the beginning of my mission, when I returned back to that same zone, they still remembered it. And they were just saying, "Oh, do you remember her name?" It's like, yes, now I remember her name. So I did mess up on that. And yeah. Mondongo or menudo, it's cow stomach that is kind of scraped out. You scrape out the hair and then you put it in the sauce, and it is absolutely disgusting. I only had it once, but that was enough for me, and I'm sure you could ask anybody else and they would say the same thing. So in my second area, I was there for 4 transfers, so 6 months. And then my third area, I was in the same zone, practically the same area, for another transfer. And I remember my president telling me that I would be there again. And I did love the people and I did love the area, but I was just kind of worn out. I was tired. And I'd been kind of with the same companion, so it was difficult too. Not because she was difficult, I loved her, but it was just the same every single day. We ate with the same people every single day, and so it was just so much the same. But when he told me that I'd be staying there, I said, okay, that's fine. Like, I know I'm supposed to be here for another reason. And it was difficult because for 4.5 months we didn't have a baptism there. And you can imagine in Mexico, that doesn't happen very often. But we were just so frustrated because we were trying to live so obediently and we wanted to see the blessings. But it wasn't until my last 3 weeks that we finally had a few baptisms. We found a family, we found people that were willing to accept the gospel, and they're all baptized now. They're young women's presidents now, they are leaders right now, and they're preparing to go to the temple right now in it. And I think more than anything, it's the lesson that we can be obedient even if we are having trials. That we don't need to be receiving those lessons right there at that moment. We can be obedient no matter what and live the gospel. And ultimately the blessings will come. Maybe not in this life, but in the next life. Or maybe not in this transfer, but the next transfer. But if we are obedient, the Lord will bless us. And He loves us and He knows why we go through all the things that we go through. You know, before my mission, I wasn't afraid to talk to people. I'm very outgoing. I love talking to people. But it definitely scared me sometimes. And one thing I learned on my mission was to talk with everyone. Everyone. It didn't matter if I understood the language or not. I would just choose to talk with them. And it ended up being my favorite way to contact, to get to know people, to get new investigators, was to talk with everyone. And being here at college now, that's my favorite thing to do. In all of my classes, if I see someone I know on campus that maybe I've never talked to before, but we have a mutual friend, I love to reach out and I love to talk to them. And I feel like that helped me a lot to just build that network and learn how to get outside of myself. Maybe I don't know why I need to talk to that person in that right moment, but maybe they need it, and maybe it's for some reason. And so I definitely learned to talk with everyone. Other skills. So I don't really like contention. I don't like having that feeling, and it's still something I'm working on. Before my mission, if I ever got into an argument with someone, or if I was ever feeling frustrated, I would just go take a nap. And that was my way to deal with it. And as I woke up, I would be fine, and I would have forgiven the person, and I would have just moved on. But it really didn't solve anything. But on my mission, being with a lot of different companions from a lot of different cultures, that's something I learned, is you can't just leave your problem there and let it simmer. You have to talk about it, and you have to find a solution. And that is definitely a skill I learned, is to talk about how I feel in the moment and what we can do to make it better and how we can change it so that it doesn't happen again. So it rains a lot. A lot. And I was not prepared for that, because they said, bring a poncho and bring an umbrella. I thought, oh, there's probably just a light sprinkle that goes down. It's not that bad. No, but it pours. It will be pouring rain for a few hours. There was one time that we were walking in the street, and we had water up to our mid-thigh. Just walking and completely soaked from head to toe. I mean, we didn't wear makeup because there was no use. It would just run down our faces. Rain, and then the next day it would be blistering hot. So hot. There would be no trace of rain. So if you serve in the Cancun mission, you definitely want to have some plastic shoes, and that's what I ended up wearing. It was so funny because I had spent so much money on really nice shoes, and then I didn't even end up wearing them. I just bought some like $10, $15 sandals that were made of plastic to wear, because that's what you needed with all the rain. A lot of short sleeve t-shirts, just regular, just basic shirts that are short sleeved, and I guess skirts are all the same, but you definitely don't want long sleeves at all. You'll never wear them. And really nice clothes, maybe for like zone conferences or district meetings you can wear nicer clothes, but if you want to fit in with the people, and if you want to not be too showy, I guess, and still be a modest servant of the Lord, just be more simple in your clothing more than anything. It depends on the area where you serve. So in one of my areas there was a Walmart, and so we were able to get all of the American things that we wanted or that we might need. In my other areas, there wasn't even a grocery store. There wasn't even an internet place. There was nothing. And so, I mean, food, you can always send food. They're not going to complain. It'll probably melt if you send chocolate, or it'll probably go to waste or spoil after a few weeks if it's not in the fridge, just because the humidity is so high and there's so much moisture in the air. To send things, though, I think if you send anything, your missionaries will be happy. Honestly, if you're in a third world country, they're happy with anything. I think more than anything, you just need to listen. More than anything, just listen to your companion. Ask questions. They expect you to ask questions. So if you don't understand anything, ask them, because they know you don't understand, and they're so nice to help you. And you learn faster that way. You can also keep a little booklet and write down little words that come to mind, or when you have a question, ask. And if you don't know the word, or if your companion doesn't know the word, you can describe it. You can figure out from that way. The language is definitely not the language they teach you in the MTC. Everyone has their own little accent that they add to it. But if you pay attention, then you'll definitely learn a lot. Mayan was a little bit more tricky since it's not a written language, but Spanish is a lot easier. So if you get to learn Spanish, you're fine.